What's up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 7 of the 248 podcast. It's your man Seamus coming at you with another installment in the series. It's 9:27 a.m. over here on the East Coast, here in the Electric City. So coming at you a little bit earlier than usual, so this will probably be uploaded a little earlier than usual. I usually bang these out 7, 8, 9 p.m. They're usually up by like 11 p.m. midnight, depending on how long they take to render and stuff like that, so figured I'd crank one out, and we'll see where this goes. So coming at you December 22nd at the time of this recording, and of course by extension by the time you're watching this, still December 22nd. I mean, if you're watching this in the future, hi. But yeah, as of this recording, it's December 22nd, 3 days away from Christmas. So I do want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. I'm not feeling too Christmassy, to be totally honest. But to be fair, it's like 60 degrees outside here in Scranton, and I'm not making that shit up. Like, yesterday was the first day of winter, and I walked outside, and it was fucking 60 degrees. Didn't need to wear a coat to work. I could wear shorts outside. My one friend said he had the air conditioner on in his car. Excuse me. So, yeah, nice way to officially kick off winter. So, yeah, not feeling too much in the Christmassy mood. Um, but I guess that's normal. I think once you get a little bit older, I feel like Christmas changes, like your perspective of it changes, and your expectations for what it's going to be change. So, obviously, when I was a kid, I always looked forward to Christmas. I always looked forward to having a mountain of presents under the Christmas tree, and I believed Santa was real. To all the kids watching, I just realized spoiler alert, I just ruined it for if there are any kids out there listening to the podcast. I'm so sorry, I just crushed your hopes and dreams. But, yeah, I would always look forward to Christmas morning because there'd be a ton of shit waiting for me under the tree. I was very spoiled, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I was very fortunate and blessed and privileged to have a loving family who made sure I was taken care of every year on Christmas morning. So, I guess leave a comment below telling me what some of your favorite presents were to get when you were a kid. And depending on how old you are, that might yield very different answers. Like, I feel like if you're younger now, you might want a Nintendo Switch or an Xbox One or whatever. And if you're like me back in the day, you wanted a PS2 or a GameCube or fucking original Xbox. Or if you're really old, you like to use the video games as an example. Like, you probably like an NES, N64, depending on how old you are. Shit like that. So, when I was a kid, I remember Christmas Day, I believe it was 2002. I got a PS2. Still have that to this day. Still my favorite console of all time. Got Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. That was the first video game I ever owned. I also got Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which I do not own. I lost that copy a long time ago. And to be fair, I lost the case first, and then the disc stopped working because when I was younger, I never took care of my games. I never did. I do my best to take care of them now. I take a lot of pride. And when those fucking idiots at GameStop are like, do you want to purchase the $1 warranty? I'm like, no, I'm good. I keep them all in the case. So, got that for Christmas when I was like 5 years old. Still have it to this day. I remember, I want to say I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. I got spoiled rotten on Christmas. I got the video now. Do you remember? I've mentioned this in a couple videos. Like, I mentioned this on a previous podcast, and I mentioned this. I think I did a whole video about the video now. I think, yeah, I did a couple years back. It's like that little mini video player. Like, the original one was like just this really generic thing. The screen is so small, black and white. The audio was terrible, and you get this little PVD disc that plays like one episode of one show. It was cool for its time, though. I remember I had the Wild Thornberries. I had Band Geeks, which is my favorite episode of SpongeBob, by the way. Have y'all signed the petition to get Sweet Victory played at the Super Bowl next year in honor of Steve Hillenburg? Because I signed that petition. That petition got over 1 million signatures. I really hope it happens, too, because why not? Yeah, it was a bonus disc, and it had the episode of Band Geeks from SpongeBob. It had a ton of previews. Like, most of those PVD discs would, like, have a couple of previews sandwiched in there, but this one bonus disc had a ton of previews, like talking about the video now and how it was the greatest technology ever, when in hindsight it was really one of the most primitive pieces of technology I think I've ever used. um, so yeah, there was that. So when I was in like I got that for my birthday when I was like 6. So then a couple years later on Christmas, I got the Video Now XP, which is like this giant uh, Game Boy Advance knockoff with like giant screen in color. The audio and picture is great. I got tons of discs. The discs were a little bigger. I got, let's see, there was The Fairly Odd Parents, there was Jimmy Neutron, My Life as a Teenage Robot. That show was my shit back in the day. I used to get bullied for liking that show. I don't know why. Yu-Gi-Oh! And all of those discs, not only did they play like three episodes of the show, whatever show it was in color, but you got like trivia games that you could do that like tied into the show. So if you got like Jimmy Neutron or Fairly Odd Parents, you got like this whole trivia game tied around various Nickelodeon shows. And with the Yu-Gi-Oh discs, there was a couple music videos, there were previews for the card game, previews for some anime that would be on like Kids WB back in the day, because that's when like Yu-Gi-Oh and One Piece and all that shit was really like popular. Um, but you could press A to watch the show itself, or press B to play the trivia game. And with the Yu-Gi-Oh discs, it had just a whole series of questions related to the show to like test your knowledge of the show from like the first couple of seasons. Because I think the episodes I had from like the second season, the Battle City arc, if I remember correctly. It's like I'm the biggest Yu-Gi-Oh fan here. My memory is lapsing just a little bit. Yeah, I got that for Christmas when I was in like third or fourth grade. I got like that basketball hoop that like you put on your door. It's a little tiny hoop. You get the little tiny basketballs, and I got that for Christmas. Like you put it on the door, and I put that in my basement, and that was my shit back in the day. Um, let's see. Back in the day, it didn't take much to like satisfy me. So like yeah, there were times like when the Video Now first came out, like and a couple of my classmates had it, I was like, I need to get this. And when I got it, I was a little bit late to the party, but I still had a lot of fun with it. But it's like back in those days, it's like this is before we had like smartphones and stuff. This is before social media, so it's like on one hand, I wanted to chase whatever trend was going at the time, but it didn't take much to please me, to like give me the illusion that I was in that trend. So when I was in like second or third grade and my parents got me this like educational computer for Christmas, it's like a little computer, it's really tiny. And you play like it gives you like addition and subtraction questions and like shit like that for like first and second graders. Like I, di- I didn't think it was like cool, but it's like it was a computer. Like, so even though it wasn't an actual computer, I was such a dumb, gullible kid at the time that the mystique of it being a computer was enough to satisfy me. um, let's see, I got this like little McDonald's playset where you get like it was like a little toy hamburger, toy fry, a toy hot fudge sundae, and you could like pretend that you were working at McDonald's making food and stuff like that. And I think that's what originally drew me to Burger King. I really think it was, because back in the day, Burger King was my favorite place to eat. Loved the chicken fries, and the chicken fries are still pretty good. I really wish that food wasn't around me all the time, because that food is pretty fucking disgusting. But let's see. Let's get back to Christmas. Let's get in a Christmassy mood here in the 248 podcast. 2010, 8th grade, I got really spoiled. Mostly because I didn't ask for any of the shit that I got, so I was very happy and grateful when I got it. I got the PS3, and I got Burnout Paradise, still my favorite game of all time. Got Batman Arkham Asylum. Got a Star Wars game that I never played. So much for me being grateful. I never played the fucking game. Got a Rascal Flatts CD. I think it was the Nothing Like This album. That's still one of my favorite albums from them. Got a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. I think it was the 5th one. Got a Lakers championship t-shirt, because that was the year 2010 that the Lakers won the championship. And it was like the official like t-shirt from the locker room celebration. It says like Lakers 2010 NBA champions. Got a LeBron jersey from the Miami Heat. Like it has James number 6 on the back. And yeah, I got spoiled that year, so I was very happy about that. Yeah, it's all my life was getting PS2 games, PS3 games, even some PS1 games. And I was like 7, I got Grand Theft Auto 2 on PS1. And thank God the PS2 was backwards compatibility, so I could play it. And Grand Theft Auto 2, that game was fucking iconic. Because if you remember, it's got the bird's eye view, and you walk around the city, and the dude in the red shirt mugs you. He's like, "Give me your wallet." That shit was so much fun back in the day. Man, so it was Wheel of Fortune. There was the Atari game where it's like, I think I mentioned this before too, because I talk about video games a lot. I'm so fucking sorry. Um, there was fucking it's like you put in the disc, and it's like all these classic Atari arcade games like Pong, Super Breakout, Warlords, Asteroids, Centipede. And there was interviews with Nolan Bushnell, who's the founder of Atari. There was excerpts from a book about video games that you could read, and it's like a nice little piece of like gaming paraphernalia. It's like it gives you like a window into like some of the most iconic games that were ever created and stuff like that on just one little disc. So again, thank God PS2 was backwards compatible, so that I was able to play it. Classic games for the Intellivision. I remember getting that on PS1. I don't think I got it for Christmas though when I was like middle school, elementary school, middle school. I think I had that long before I even had the PS2, because I remember my official love story with gaming, I guess you could say, like the first console I ever owned was a PS2. But before that, there was an NES that my mom and I would play when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I had it till I was like 8, but then I lost it. Like I woke up one day and it was just gone, and I don't remember the exact details. So I guess you could say I lost it, but maybe my dad sold it or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not mad about it or anything. I had an NES with Family Feud, Back to the Future, and Hudson's Adventure Island. That game was so fucking cool. I had, and then I had a PS1. Like it wasn't mine, but it's like I had the classic games for the Intellivision. So it's like all those generic basketball, baseball, soccer, racing games, like just off-brand generic games. Like it's a basketball game and it's literally just titled basketball. Um, it's like the little grainy stick figures where you like run around like at like snail speed, and you shoot the ball and it takes like 10 seconds to go to reach the hoop. I think I definitely remember having that a long before the PS2. So the PS2 was the first console I ever owned. Um, and yeah, now that I'm older, of course, and I work, so I can just get something for myself for Christmas. So actually, later on, when I'm done doing this podcast, I'm probably just gonna go get some last minute shopping done for myself and my family. So I don't know what to get my dad though. I was thinking about getting him like a Yankees hat on Amazon, but I'm not sure how much they cost because I haven't done my research yet. I haven't looked up how much they are. And there's a kiosk in the Viewmont Mall, which is a mall here in Scranton. They have a kiosk where you can buy hats. It's called the Lids, where you just browse the hats, and all the hats are like fucking $30, $35 a piece. It's like they're nice hats, but it's like I want to rep the Lakers and rep the Yankees. I don't want to fucking break the bank to do so. But yeah, my Christmas traditions have changed a little bit now. It's like I'll sit at my computer and watch the Ed, and Eddie Christmas special. Do y'all remember that? That was iconic. I loved Ed, and Eddie, and I love that Christmas special. Sit there with a little thing of eggnog and a thing of smidgens from Gertrude Hot Chocolates, and down that shit in 20 minutes because I'm a fat asshole. um, yeah, so I guess over time my traditions and my expectations for what Christmas would be have changed a little bit, but that's okay. It comes with the territory. It happens when you get older. So yeah, just leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys are gonna do for Christmas this year, and what were some of your favorite things to get when you were a kid, stuff like that. Um, yeah, like I said, it doesn't take like it's like now I'm at a point in my life where like I don't need like material items to like make myself happy on Christmas morning. Like my friend and I just went to go look at Christmas lights at Naog Park, which is a park here in Scranton, and they had this beautiful lights display like Santa and reindeer, candy canes. So that's you just drive through the park in your car, and you get to look at all the lights, and they're all set up in like order, and it's beautifully done. And it really does give the park a lot of light. Obviously, it gives it a lot of life and a lot of character, a lot of personality, and it's needed because Naog Park was the shit. If you're not from Scranton, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. So let me educate you. If you only know Scranton because of The Office and stuff, so Naog Park, like back in the day, it had this magical playground, which I think is still there. I went there a few years ago and it was still there, but it hadn't been touched or improved. Like, it's one of those things where it's like the only people that would touch it are like vagrants just roaming around with nothing to do. And, it depends on how often you get those people there. But there's like no little kids running around. Like, back when it first was put in the park, like, you could fill that thing up with all the little kids running around, myself included, just running around, going to the swings and the jungle gym and the slides and stuff. Um, but now it's like, I went there like about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was desolate. Like, someone had abandoned it. To be fair, though, it took a lot of walking to get to it because it's like kind of hidden in the park. It's such a weird park. Like, it's one of those things where I was a kid and I assumed that park meant like a place where you go to play. Like, there's a swing set and slides and shit. Like, I assumed that every park was that. And when I was like 6 years old, I made the bonehead mistake of like, my grandparents and I passed by a building where you could park your car, and because the sign said park, I was like, "Oh, Grandma, there's a park. Let's go to it." So yeah, McDade Park, which is another great park here in Scranton. Back in the day, that was great because like it was so like quaint and quirky and really small, but it still got the job done because like it was like a couple of slides, a jungle gym, the fireman's pole, and a couple of swings and a sandbox. And it was so small back in the day, but it was just more than enough to appease any kid's wishes, I guess you could say. In recent years, Matt, Amanda, and I go subscribe to Matt Balloon 1115. I can't mention him without shouting him out in his channel. Couple years ago, I think we went there to go throw like a frisbee around. Like, Matt has a frisbee in his trunk. We just pop it out the trunk, just go around the park, throwing the frisbee around, see how far we can throw it and stuff. And they expanded the park. There's more actual playgrounds. There's a basketball court and stuff like that. And now it looks absolutely beautiful. Like, it didn't look bad before, but now it just looks immaculate. So, but back in the day, it was so nice to go to because it was so quaint and like it was simple, and it's one of those things where you could just appreciate it for its simplicity. And I remember, like, my grandma and my grandfather surprised me by picking me up from school, and I was in, like, kindergarten, first grade, and they took me there as a surprise, and I was in my fucking glory. We would go there, and I'd play on the swings and the slides and everything. I'd slide down the fireman pole, and I had my little fireman's hat, made it authentic for myself as a 5-year-old. And then we'd walk over to, like, this little pond where the ducks were, and we would feed the ducks Ritz Bits. Do you know what Ritz Bits is? If you go to your local grocery store, they have Ritz Bits and peanut butter flavored, but back in the day, like 2002, 2003, they had s'mores flavored. Those were fucking banging. And, yeah, we would feed the ducks them, and they would love it, and they would, like, come up to the, like, here's the water where the ducks are, here's, like, some rocks, and then here's the blacktop where you're standing to, like, feed the ducks. They would, like, swim up to you, and, like, they'd want more. Like, they liked the s'mores Ritz Bits just as much as I did, because, again, if y'all never knew what they were, you really missed out. They were fucking orgasmic. Yeah, those were some of the more fun memories from when I was a kid. So yeah, McDade Park was definitely better than Nayog. Nayog back in the day, like nowadays they have a Olympic-sized swimming pool and a kinda water park, and they have like it's nice to just walk through the woods, ride your bike through the woods or whatever the fuck, and enjoy nature, and it's really peaceful. And there's a nice mystique about that, but at the same time, it's just like there's really nothing to do there. Like there's nothing wrong with that, but the problem with Nayog Park is like it's never been like clear what the park is intended to actually be. It's like they don't know if it's a place where you want kids to play on a playground, or you just want the adults to walk around and enjoy nature, or a little bit in between. Because Nayog Park used to have a zoo, and I remember reading back in like 2007, 2008 when this was done, but the Nayog Park was voted like the fourth worst zoo in the United States of America. Yeah, because we had a zoo in there at one point, opened and closed on and off from like early 2000s to like 2008. It was there for like decades, and they closed it, opened it back up, and then it closed again. And now they like take care of like cats and dogs in the little enclosures where the tigers and the lions used to be and stuff. And they've made use of the building. But I remember I went into that zoo. Like, you walk into this little building, you get to see the monkeys and stuff, and they have the tigers and the lions and these like enclosures and stuff outside. But yeah, you go inside, you see like the monkeys and stuff, and they had like the monkey in this giant room just by himself, and um, they had a TV, like a SpongeBob TV, like the frame of the TV was yellow and had SpongeBob's face on it. And they had fucking Sesame Street or something on the TV. And you looked at the monkey, and the monkey just looked fucking miserable. You could give him a banana, he would not eat the banana. Um, it's like, I didn't go in there, like, last time I went in there I was like 6 or 7 years old, so I wasn't going in there looking to have a thrilling, entertaining good time, so it didn't really bother me that the animals looked miserable. But when I realized that it was voted one of the worst zoos in America, I guess I should have seen that coming. um, uh, Naog Park also used to do like movie nights. So when I was like really little, like 6 or 7 years old, and the Cat in the Hat movie came out. Remember that with fucking Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat. For some reason, I loved that movie as a kid. Like when I was in like elementary school, I went on a Dr. Seuss like obsession. Like I read all the books, the cartoon movies, the Christmas specials, like the Grinch and stuff, and toys and books and everything, like notebooks that were like Dr. Seuss themed, and I'm sure at the time my teachers didn't care because like I was reading, like it was like I was first getting into reading, like when you're in like first, second grade, they first try to introduce you to that kind of stuff. So like on the surface, like there's nothing wrong with it. Like the kid's reading books and he's like writing stuff down in his notebook and stuff like that, and he's like, I don't know, but yeah, the Cat in the Hat movie came out like 2002, 2003, and I saw it in the theater, and my grandfather walked to CVS, which is only down the street from his house, and got the Cat in the Hat on VHS tape. Back in the day when fucking CVS sold VHS tapes and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I would badger and torture my grandma to take me to CVS and get the Yu-Gi starter deck from Yu-Gi-Oh with Dark Magician and Blackluster Soldier, and it was like $10 at the time, so it's worth hundreds, if not thousands of dollars now, so it was a steal in hindsight. Yeah, I would badger her to take me there and spend $10 on the Yugi starter deck just to get Dark Magician because I would always lose Dark Magician and I always want a new one. Plus, they had like the OG monsters like Karibo, Celtic Guardian, again Blackluster Soldier, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, my grandfather went there and got me the Cat in the Hat movie on VHS. But then the Naog Park announced like, oh, we're gonna have like a showing of the Cat in the Hat and stuff like that, like the summer after the movie came out, and I was like, can we please go see it? Even though I'd already seen the movie, had it on VHS, I could watch it at my grandma's house, I wanted to go see it at Naog Park. I don't remember if it cost any money, but to satisfy my stupid ass back in the day, my grandma was willing to do it. So we went to go see it. They went to this little tent with all the families or with their kids to go see the movie. And they had the movie on this dinky-ass projection screen, and the projector was hanging up from the top of the tent or whatever. And about 20 minutes into the movie, the picture blacked out, and they had to restart the movie, and it took them like a half hour to figure out what was going on, fix the projector and everything. So that was a pretty fun experience. Childhood memories. Comment some of your childhood memories down below. But yeah, I liked that movie back when I was a kid. In hindsight, it's a really fucking terrible movie. But again, I think it's one of those things where I think as you get older, obviously your tastes change a lot. Your opinions change, your perceptions change, and you become more self-aware, and you become more cognizant of what is actually, like, good. Like, back in the day, I thought the movie was good, but looking back on it, I was like, it's a fucking mess. Like I remember reading that Dr. Seuss's wife, like, took away the rights for people to make live-action versions of her husband's books. Like, after The Cat in the Hat and The Grinch, she was like, no more, because she was so disgusted with The Cat in the Hat. So now they do the CGI animated movies, but they don't do live action anymore because Dr. Seuss's wife was so disgusted with The Cat in the Hat. But yeah, back in the day, that would entertain me. Nowadays, it's like, play Rocket League on Xbox, watch Survivor. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit for anyone out there that watches Survivor. Because if you don't watch Survivor, fuck you, I'm talking about it anyway. Because here's your chance to learn something about the game, learn about the show, get into it if you haven't watched it already. And for those of you that do watch Survivor, I'm assuming you just saw the last season, so I'm not considering this a spoiler alert for those of you that do watch the show. But yeah, my tastes have changed a little bit over the years. So yeah, I had a Survivor themed channel called Tribal Council with Seamus that I have not touched in a long time. And looking back on how fantastic this most recent season was, I probably should have, because it would have been a nice time capsule of me gradually, like, analyzing the season as it went along and as it just kept getting better and better and better. So in hindsight, I probably should have. But what I would do with the channel is every time there'd be a new episode, I would immediately pull up my shitty ass Android. The one I have now is decent and films in HD, and I believe it films in 1080p, which isn't bad, even though the quality is still kind of grainy and not up to par with iDevices and iPhones and stuff like that. So I had a shitty ass Android, the first of which didn't film in HD, the second of which did, but had terrible recording spares where it's like I have to film like 2 or 3 minute long videos, bang them out as fast as I can, talk as fast as I possibly can, which sucks because it takes away the opportunity to actually be creative, be artistic, and take pride in my actual work. And then it sets up the perception where if you know me and you've watched any of my videos, I'm not going to act like you have because I'm an amateur. I only have 200 subscribers, so I'm not going to act like y'all know me. But if you do, you know I have, my whole persona is I talk fast and I don't shut up. Like, I don't take a second to catch my breath. And the reason is because back in a couple years ago, I fucking couldn't. Like, I have to bang out this fucking 2-3 minute video before my phone runs out of recording space and then upload it to YouTube. So, whenever a new episode of Survivor would air, I would do a quick video discussing my thoughts on the episode. Again, going as fast as I possibly could at the time. And talk about it a little bit, give my predictions and stuff like that. So, for those of you that don't watch Survivor, it's been going since like the year 2000. It's hosted by Jeff Probst. And even if you don't watch it, you should still know the premise. You get marooned on a desolate island with a bunch of strangers, and you get separated into 2 teams, 2 tribes as they're called in Survivor, and you have to compete against each other in reward and immunity challenges, and then you have to vote off your fellow castaways if you lose the immunity challenge. And there's a litany, a myriad of twists and advantages and different dynamics that go into it. Like, there's immunity idols, there's secret advantages, there's extra votes. You can align with people and have alliances. You can target bigger threats that you think are a detriment to your own personal game. And if you lose the immunity challenge, you can rally the troops and vote that person out of the game. And if you make it to the end and you win the title of Sole Survivor, you win $1 million. So you get broken up into 2 tribes. Sometimes there'll be tribe swaps where you have maybe 2 tribes or new tribes or 3 tribes or stuff like that. Halfway through the game, you merge into 1 tribe, and then you compete for individual immunity rewards. And from that point on, every subsequent eliminated player becomes part of the jury. So then when you have 8, 9, 10 jury players, it varies by season, but nowadays they just do 10. Then the 10 jury members question the final 2 or 3 contestants about why they deserve the $1 million. And those 2 or 3 players have to explain why they deserve it and why they played the best game, stuff like that. So this most recent season was called Survivor David versus Goliath. And the premise was 2 tribes of 10, 1 tribe, the David tribe, where they're always overcoming obstacles and adversity in their life, versus the 10 Goliaths who are, it's like one of them is Mike White, who's a famous actor and director from Hollywood. He wrote School of Rock with Jack Black, fucking awesome movie still to this day. And he has a net worth of fucking $4 million. So these people are like, they're not pampered. Like, they obviously worked hard to get where they're at, but you know, it's like they have the upper hand and they have the leg up in life. And that was the whole dynamic of the season. And in perfectly biblical fashion, the Davids slowly overcame all these obstacles, and we had the winner. His name is Nick from the David tribe. Ended up winning the season. So that was my chance to explain to those of you that don't know what's going on what Survivor is. For those of you that do, and anyone out there listening to this that does, because this podcast is not specific to Survivor. This is just what I'm talking about for this particular podcast. If you do know, here's your chance to strap yourself in and let's talk, because I feel bad about not uploading to the Tribal Council channel. At the same time, though, I was getting views, but I wasn't picking up any new subscribers. So, besides, this is my chance to make up for lost time. This is my chance to talk about Survivor in a more detailed manner, as opposed to hurrying to get a fucking 2-minute video out where I can't even speak my mind and actually analyze what's going on in the situation. So this was a fucking incredible season. I've only been watching since season 27, Blood vs. Water, that came out about 5 years ago. But this season was fucking fantastic. The last couple of seasons sucked ass. But this season was great. You had Christian, who was such a great fan favorite. There was Davey, who was really eccentric and lovable. Nick, who won. He was a great player. I'm glad he won. There was Dan. He was okay. Kara, I liked a lot. I wanted her to win after Christian went home. But as the season winded down, I realized she wasn't going to have the game or the moves to warrant winning. She was in a position where she hadn't pissed anyone off, and she had kept herself away from being a threat or being perceived as a threat, and she had aligned herself with a handful of people, particularly on the jury, where they'd probably be willing to vote for her. So she played a decent game up until Christian went home, but then it was like then she just kind of fell by the wayside, and it was evident that she wasn't going to have the gameplay or the resume to get all the jury votes she needed. And then she ended up losing the fire making challenge to Mike White, and then she ended up going on the jury. He went to the finale, or to the final three, final Tribal Council. So Angelina didn't like her. Between, like, Natalie, can I have your jacket? Dan, can you play your immunity idol for me? Jeff, can we have some rice? Oh, I just climbed a 100-foot ladder to get an immunity idol. Aren't I so great? I mean, she doesn't seem like an evil person, but she kind of pissed me off with the way she conducted herself. But for the most part, the cast was great. You had John, who took his insane blindside in stride, where the Davids split a minority vote for the first time in Survivor history and turned the tables on the Goliaths. But overall, it was a great season. Great gameplay, great characters, great personalities, unpredictable twists, perfectly implemented and used advantages and stuff like that, like the idol nullifier that put Dan on the jury, and the use of idols and stuff like that. Like a lot of the advantages get a bad rap in the game for being a bit too much after a while, particularly in seasons like Game Changers, where that season was just about crazy events and big moves rather than than character building and a story and stuff like that. But when these advantages get implemented right, they add so many dimensions to the game, so many layers of depth and excitement. And again, when it's done right, it can make for fucking great TV. But yeah, go watch Survivor if you haven't before. It's a fucking great show. Next season they're doing is season 38, Edge of Extinction. Premieres in February, March, and features 4 returning players: Joe Anglim, Kelly Wentworth, David Wright, and Aubrey Bracco. 4 of my favorite modern Survivor players, especially Joe. Survivor MacGyver, he's my boy. But yeah, if you haven't seen the show, please go check it out. What the fuck have you been doing? The show's been on for fucking 18 years. So yeah. Trying to think what else to talk about. So yeah, when I'm done doing this, I'll probably go to Walmart or something and fucking do some Christmas shopping. I just got an Amazon gift card for like $25, so I'm probably gonna go on there and get some Yellow cartoons because I fucking love Yellow Card. I need to get my hands on the Paper Walls album, the Southern Air album, and I think I'll be pretty much done with my Yellow Card collection. I could have got the final self-titled album for like $5 at Warped Tour this past summer at the Hobos Record Tent, but it's a great album, but it's just too sad for me. like I'm more of like the more summery, energetic pop punk variety. So not just with Yellowcard, but with like pop punk in general. If you have like Ocean Avenue from Yellowcard, When You're Through Thinking, Say Yes. Look at like All Time Low, like So Wrong It's Right, Nothing Personal, Don't Panic. Those three albums are fucking killer. Sender Quest from Nanacoke, local band, repping the 570. Please go check them out. They're a fucking awesome band. They just dropped their album Perspectives in August. That album is fucking awesome. It's just great, youthful, summery pop punk done correctly. Love it so much. Let's see. Like Green Day back into like American Idiot, like the politically charged, like gritty, like it's kind of pop punk, but it's like it is and it isn't. Like I don't know, like in the case of Green Day with American Idiot, I don't know if that's a misnomer, but it fits the bill for pop punk. But it's got that grit and that it's politically charged, got that pop and the spank to it. Um, but yeah, like Yellowcard, All Time Low, Blink 182, like the self-titled is probably my favorite Blink album. I like Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, Enema of the State. Those are classics. Neck Deep, Life's Not Out to Get You, State Champs. I was gonna say just the finer things from State Champs, but all of their albums are fucking great. Like Around the World and Back, Living Proof. Those are great summary albums where like Derek gets a chance to show off his wailing vocals, and and there's not a gloss to the production value, but there's like it's raw and it's gritty and it's well done. But it also has that shimmer of like well executed like composition, I guess you could say, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's another thing that if you haven't checked out, what are you doing with your life? Go listen to pop punk. That music is fucking killer, man. So yeah, I think with that, I'm just gonna sign off. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smack the like button if you did. Be sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and tap the bell to become part of our notification squad. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever the fuck you celebrate. Not gonna cater to every single one of you because I'm not an offended little bitch. I'm just teasing, guys. Love you. Thank you so much for 200 subscribers. Thank you for the ongoing support on the channel. Love y'all to death. And with that, oh, did you hear Matt's computer? What a way to end this. What a way to end this. But yeah, with that, we'll see you next time.